So recently I found some information that shows that there could possibly be an Easter egg quest that's interactable that we have not solved yet. I've compiled all the information and I'll show you guys all of that, but I feel like this has about a 20% chance of being something and something they haven't cut from the game. And I know it sounds impossible because we've had access to the code and we've been able to go through everything, but if you guys remember, there was a crazy Easter egg in the spawn that was related to one of the devs and it was almost impossible to do, and we had to hack it to figure it out, and that was not discovered for a really long time. That Easter egg would have never been discovered. It was leaked information, and that's what tipped the hackers to go in and look to see what the steps were and to see if it existed. But those steps were there the whole time. We had access to it for a long time, but nobody knew to look. Like, I don't really know what happened there. But you just have to like board a bunch of windows and buy guns, and I made a video about that. But then this big heart pops up with a dev and his family. But knowing that and knowing that just nobody knew to look for it, it gives me hope that this one is also something that is the same situation. What I'm going to show you is 100% a quest. And it's something that was completed, like I said, and it is in the game, but we don't know if it's still an active quest. I only have the information that it was a quest at one time and it was completed and put into the game, and I've not gone further than that. What I wanted to do was make this video and present this as a possible Easter egg hunt. Like, I'm not going to go in and data mine this or try to look through the code to figure out the steps. We don't have a lot of hunts left, so I wanted to see, like, yeah, we could just maybe hunt this and not just go in and hack the crap out of it immediately. I've done nothing towards the hunt. I've only investigated it, looked at some of the history of what this could mean, and then I'm just making the video and then gonna start the hunt after that. I realize we're probably not gonna have a lot of time because once this video goes live, there will be people that are going to want to data mine it. So we might have like a day to go and check this out before that happens. But let me show you what this is, what it's called, and then why I think it has a 20% chance of being active still. So you go into the Undercroft, you're in the lab, and if you walk to the left of the teleporter, you're gonna see this bone-looking object on top of this machinery. This is not just a decorative bone, this is actually a flute and an instrument, and it's called ZM Castle Flute Bone Quest. What stands out to me about this is that it's in a hotspot for other Easter eggs. You can see this thing in the lab before you go back in time. And then when you go back in time, they changed its orientation and how it's positioned. When you first view it before you go back in time, you can see the holes on top of it and you can see the decorative art on it, but you don't necessarily know what it is yet. Then when you go back in time, whether it's the Easter egg or the plunger, you can see that they changed the way that it's laying. Before, you could see just part of it. You could see the holes and the decorations. Now, when you go back in time, you can see the other side of it. They flipped it over and spun it. So you can see there's a hole on the end of it, and this thing is actually a flute. So they put some effort in here to position it one way and then show us the other part of it only when you're doing special steps. And I was like, why a bone flute? Like, what's that have to do with anything? But if you see the markings on it, you can see that it has keeper language and then also some apothecon. So now I'm off Googling, like, what's up with bone flutes? And it turns out that the bone flute was is the oldest known instrument in the world, which ties nicely in with the keeper storyline. If you go back to the Chronorium, it says, in the beginning, there were only the keepers, though they're like the original race and the ancients from long ago. And I guess they liked bone flutes. So you have this really decorative item that they put effort into moving it whenever you go back in time and do special Easter egg steps, and it ties in with the storyline, and then it's also a musical instrument. So my guess is that you can interact with it and you're going to hear like a nice flute song or something from the keepers. So one reason I think that it could still exist and it's not cut is that if you just have to interact with it in a special way to get a flute sound to go off, that doesn't seem like it would be too difficult to implement, and I don't see it being complicated and them needing to cut it. And then just speculating on why we may not have found it while data mining goes back to that dev Easter egg with that big heart and his family that pops up. Like, we just didn't know to look for it, and it was pretty well hidden. And then while data mining, we probably found some songs and noises or whatever, and maybe they came across a flute noise, and maybe it just looked like ambient sounds and it was overlooked. Again, there's a slim chance that this still exists, but I feel like there could be a little bit of hope. And this would be insane. Like, if this was still active and we could hear a keeper flute song, that would be insane. I would make that my ringtone. It would be so awesome. And if this is not still active, then this video is to let you know that this was an Easter egg at one time, and if they cut it, that's gonna be sad that we're never gonna hear a keeper flute song. After I post this, unfortunately it might get data mined to death, but hopefully some of us can get some hunting in before that happens. I've got some ideas I'm going to be trying, and obviously I'll keep you guys updated on what happens. Like, are people going to hack it to death? Do we get a chance to hunt it? Is it still active? We'll find out soon. It would be cool if it was still active and it sounded like that shitty flute meme or something. I don't think Eric was really implementing memes during Horizon. They did that later on. But let me know what you guys think about this, and we'll see you next video.